Answer. Completely, thoroughly knocked around with no answer. Colombia immediately put Poland on the back foot in this match. And I think I saw Poland threaten the Colombian goal maybe twice this entire match. Really threatened. And that was, and one of those chances was when Colombia was already up 3-0. This was like around the 87th minute when I believe Ospina was forced into that save over Lewandowski. I thought this was going to be a knife fight because both teams entered this match needing most likely at least a draw because they lost to Senegal and to Japan respectively. But this was not a knife fight. This was a mugging in an alleyway because Colombia were not just the most ruthlessly pressing side. Poland looked entirely overwhelmed in this match. Like they had no clue what hit them. And the lack of a response to their loss to the Senegal match, I want to say they kind of looked like they weren't up for it. Just like how Nigeria wasn't in their opening match against Croatia. Now, I know Poland needed something from this game, but the extent to which they were subjected to Colombia's will over them in this game was just something that I didn't see coming. I did not predict Poland to come out of this group, and I did receive a lot of crap for it. And then they go into this tournament, and they exceed the low expectations that I had for them to begin with even further, because I at least did not have them get eliminated before the final match day. I thought that they would lose their final game against Japan. That's what I had on paper. I still don't know if that will happen, but I mean, I don't know. But 2 games and out, it's a humiliation from their perspective. It's sad to see because this is a European World Cup where we're seeing European teams kind of dominating so far, for lack of a better word. And they became the second European team in this World Cup after Germany to lose their first match, and now they're the first European team to lose their second match in this World Cup. And they're out. And we have to remember, Poland were one of the 8 seeded sides of this tournament. They were a top 8 FIFA ranking team entering this tournament. And I pointed out, I flashed the warning signal. I said, you know what? I'm not really sure if this Poland team are a top 8 side. On their best day, they can beat anybody. I mean, but I pointed to their inconsistency in qualifying, and I said, you know what? These guys look a little bit suspect. The group is doable, but I just had a feeling. I didn't think they were going to come through. And I know a lot of other people felt the same way. And Dominic Rich felt the same way. He did not predict Poland to come through this group. I didn't either. The only one that I felt, semi-confident about was Colombia. And then, the second place spot being between Poland, Senegal, and Japan. And in this match, a lot of people anticipated this to be one of the more exciting games of the tournament. And it was from Colombia's perspective, but this was a beatdown. It was a beatdown. And the player that impressed me the most in this match was Cuadrado. Because in the first half, you saw when he made that run on the right-hand side, he dribbled around those 2 Polish players to win a corner for Colombia. He was the most aggressive man on the field today for Colombia. Then we had the corner where Yerry Mina scored off his header. I don't think it was a corner. I believe it was just a cross in the box, actually. But every time Poland got on the ball, Colombia just kept making world-class tackles. They kept recovering the ball. They kept winning all these challenges in midfield. And Poland looked absolutely toothless. It wasn't that they looked toothless going forward, and Lewandowski was rendered silent for this game. It wasn't just that, but every time that they looked like they had something going forward, Colombia just snuffed it out. They just snuffed it out. They won the ball back. They just ran down the field, and we had the second goal, I believe, the third goal, with a beautiful pass from James Rodriguez, who punted it down to the other side of the field to meet Cuadrado, who scored Colombia's third goal. And the build-up play to that goal, the pass, it was magnificent. Absolutely magnificent, including the run from Cuadrado, who was about 40 yards out. He made that run to put this game away, to tuck in the back of the net. Colombia were by far and away the superior team here. And I don't think Poland really knew what to do. They came into this game. I couldn't really tell what their game plan was, because it wasn't just, Lewandowski and Pazdan and Krychowiak that were neutralized, but they couldn't even keep the ball for large stretches of this game. And that's what really surprised me. I don't know if it's so much a Polish meltdown as much as it was a Colombian comeback, because Colombia lost their first match 2-1. And we knew, the one thing we did know was both these teams were going to have to respond to losing their opening match very much unexpectedly. But in hindsight, perhaps Poland's loss to Senegal is not that surprising. Maybe this was a team that was waiting to be found out. And I thought this match was either going to be a tight draw or a Colombian win, just because I feel like Colombia is a side that has more depth. They have those individual playmakers that they can flip a game on a dime. And I just feel that Colombia, they respond better to pressure than Poland does. I had more trust for James, Falcao, than I did for Lewandowski. The same criticism I give Lewandowski, I mentioned other players. For example, I had Christian Eriksen for Denmark. Yes, I know he scored the goal against Australia, but you already know what my criticism of Christian Eriksen is. But look, Lua was, I didn't even notice he was on the field today. I didn't know. And other than the chance that he had to pull one back that was saved by the Colombian goalkeeper Ospina, I didn't know Lewandowski was on the field today. Might as well have been sleeping on the bench. But I still don't know how to interpret this match. And that's the tricky thing. I don't know how to interpret this match, because it was an excellent performance from Colombia. But it was also a poor way for Poland to rally to come from that loss to Senegal. And I know James Rodriguez was given the man of the match for Colombia, but I think it should be Cuadrado. I thought he was their best attacking player in the first half. The amount of flair that he had, he really had the tempo of this Colombian team on fire up front. So, but Colombia very much so, they got the 3 points here, and still, because of Japan and Senegal's draw, they're sitting on 3 points, so they're in the third placed position, which means they can't take any chances, because they have to go out and they have to beat Senegal. A draw today was going to put Colombia and Poland still into a corner, no matter who won this game. So that's actually bad news for Senegal, because Colombia is going to play to win. Because if they draw, let's say Senegal and Colombia draw, you have to think that Colombia certainly can't rely on Japan dropping points against Poland, even though I do think Japan will drop points against Poland. I just have a hard time seeing Poland finishing with 0 points. I don't see it. They'll get something out of that final game, whether they get a draw or a win. But even from Japan's perspective, a draw might be enough. It might be enough. But Colombia have to win. They have to get the 6 points to go through. They're pretty much Germany's position when Germany lost their first match. But I'm more confident with, I guess, Germany getting the 6 points in Colombia, because Senegal is a very tough team. Very tough team. And I'll get to my match reaction regarding Japan-Senegal later, if I have time, hopefully. But, Colombia is not out of the woods yet, but this really does help them, especially if this group comes down to a goal differential type of scenario. So well done to Colombia. And Poland, very disappointing. Very disappointing. Again, I didn't have you advancing, but I didn't think you'd be out after 2 games. You have to look at the autopsy report. And Adam Navalka, he's probably out after this.